At the Pirawall Hotel, John James Fergus has watched the changes with more than a little regret, fearing that traditional island life is in danger of being eroded.
It's changed a good bit in this last 10 years. It was near 10 years ago, it was all local people that was on the island. But now they're upwards of 100 incomers, or white settlers as we call them. But you get a few of them up here and they think that they want to change it to their own way of doing, why did they not stay home where they came from instead of coming up here and try and change the style of the place as it is. But some of them's a good asset to the island and other ones just filling in space.
One of the problems that has caused some resentment has been when incomers who appear to have no interest in working have arrived to occupy the few remaining council houses while living off state benefits.
You don't mind people coming into the community if they're going to be an asset and work in the community. But the one thing I say about the ones that doesn't work, most of them comes along the hotel, so they spend money anyway, so off you and me, the government.
But even John James has to accept the facts of life. Without the incomers, there would be a shortage of children, eventually putting the local school's very existence in jeopardy. And it's fair to say that one particular incomer has made a major difference to the community. Westray, like many islands, dreams of self-sufficiency in energy, avoiding the need to rely on outside sources. At least part of the answer lay literally right under their noses, in the island's staple diet of fish and chips. Lying strewn across a derelict farm on the outskirts of Pirawall, hundreds upon hundreds of containers filled with used cooking oil, not just from Westray, but gathered from other islands as well. As a source of renewable energy, it has few rivals, and Willie McEwen was convinced that if he could get sufficient amounts of the oil, he knew he could challenge the island's reliance on diesel and petrol, cutting down on pollution at the same time.
We've got 6 1,000-litre tanks. We pour it through a filter at the bottom just as we did before, pump it up to the top here. It goes into this tank. It then comes through the other tanks, one after another, settling as it goes. Tank after tank. Gets to the bottom, clean fuel. You saw the tanks from above. Here's the fuel that's come down through these tanks and reached this final tank. It's now draining into here. You can see clean, bright, shiny oil, ready to use. I'm now going to put some in the car. Put it into this jerry can first.
The only minor problem, if you could call it that, is that people who have driven the car, unaware of the fuel that's running it, frequently complain of feeling a little hungry afterwards.
Driving it is just normal, it starts and runs just the same. You don't notice that you're driving it any different. We lend it to lots of people and they say, but it's just the same. When you stop, that's when you maybe notice just the faint aroma of fish and chips.
Now there are plans for a renewable fuel pump at the local petrol station. And Willie's next project is an all-purpose electric car for the disabled. This is on top of his work restoring derelict buildings and teaching science at the local school. Even the most sceptical amongst the islanders admit their admiration.
I mean, and the work done in the island is fantastic. But he must have had a bit of money one way and another before he could do what he's done.